Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be looking at all the polishes I wore in May of this year. I'm really pumping out these videos now because I want to get them all up in time. But something before we get started that's going to be important from this month on is that I will not be featuring glitter toppers in these monthly recaps anymore. I'm going to do them in a separate video because I'm going to be talking about all the polishes I wore them over, etc., etc. So I wore quite a few in May, but I'm going to be skipping those and doing kind of like a 2019 wrap up at the end of the year or at the beginning of the next year. But let's get started with this month's polishes. This first one is a thermal by Femme Fatale, and it's called Madame Medusa. This is a kind of a pinky nude color that goes to a coral when it's cold, but there's also this really pretty pink shimmer. Now, I did 4 coats for the picture that you're seeing here. I was actually pretty lucky to get it to transition the way it did on my nails, so that was good. Basically, it's not 100% opaque in 4 coats in its warm state, and I actually believe that that's intended or intentional, whichever way you want to put it. I feel like the peachy nude color is more of like a dainty, just kind of, I don't know, base or whatever. Whereas the coral or peach or whatever you want to call that color is pretty much opaque in 4. So that's something to consider if you want to pick up this polish. I didn't mind it that much. I usually don't gravitate towards sheer polishes, but I didn't mind this one at all. Next we have another thermal. Actually this is a thermal and a UV reactive polish. This is by Boat Polish and it's called Miracle. Now this has a bunch of different colors. In its original warm non-UV reactive state, it's this really pretty light, almost like a turquoise. I actually wouldn't call it a light turquoise, it's more of a dark turquoise. But when it's cold it gets even darker than that. And when it's UV reactive or UV activated, I guess, it goes to a medium to dark blue. There's also some scattered holographic in here. They're flakies, so they lie flat, not texture or anything. You can remove them pretty easily, so that's fun. I did also do 4 coats for this one. It's opaque for the most part, so I wouldn't worry too much about it. Yeah. I like this polish, but mine's actually a little bit older, so the shift might be more extreme if you have a new bottle. Then this next one was actually really pretty, and I didn't expect to like this one this much. This is by China Glaze, and it's called The Outer Edge. This was from the Giver collection, and this is a slightly off-white micro glitter, but I think there's some pearlescent glitters in here as well. Obviously, this is gonna get pretty thick and pretty textured, so do not under any circumstances wear this without a peel-off base coat. It's not gonna go well, let's be real. So what I did for this picture is I did 2 coats, just kind of brushed on like you would with a normal polish, and then I did 1 coat sponged on. So that helped with the opacity. You can still kind of see the difference between my nail bed and my free nail, but I did not mind this at all. Oh, another thing, because I did nail art over this, nail art will also be featured in a separate video. And that's gonna be like this in the future. So the next one is by Bourjois, and this is called Green Fizz. This is similar to, I think it was called Highlight of My Summer by China Glaze. I'm actually not sure if I showed that one already or if it's coming up. I apologize for that. Either way, this is actually more saturated and a little bit darker. I did 2 coats for this. It has a pretty good formula. I can't complain about anything. Yeah, this looks pretty perfect, let's be real. So yeah, I don't have any complaints whatsoever. This next one is by Model's Own, and it's called Cashmere Rose, which actually that describes it pretty well. It's this muted pink color. It reminds me of the one that I featured last I almost said last month, but in last month's video, I guess, in April's video, by Bow Polish called Pandora. But this is actually darker. This is just a stand-up cream, and yeah, I did 2 coats, and again, no complaints whatsoever. I do have a hard time working with the Model's Own brush, especially on this one, this line. I think it's the Hyper Gel, I want to say it's called. Something with gel, I don't know. Either way, yeah, the brush is kind of like broad and a little bit too broad for my nails, but it didn't make the formula bad or anything. So this next one is by OPI, and this is most likely my oldest OPI polish. This is 18 karat Ginza Gold. And I actually believe that this was from the Hong Kong collection, but if I'm wrong, I'm going to be really embarrassed, so don't quote me on this. But this is a really pretty, like, dark yellow gold, if that makes sense. Again, I did do 4 coats, but old mainstream polishes tend to be really thin, so that was to be expected. I like this one a lot. It's not a color you see that much anymore. Like, I would consider this like a retro color almost, so yeah. This next one is by Painted Polish, and it's called Chasing Rainbows. This is just a white crelly with all sorts of colored glitter. Pretty much every color you can imagine. This had an amazing formula. Again, I like Painted Polish crellies, as you guys probably know by now, and I did 3 coats for this one. And what's funny was that my fiance actually called this the Togepi polish. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with the Pokemon, but that's what it reminded him of, which was funny. This next one, another older one, which I gotta say I'm not super impressed with. This is by China Glaze, and it's called Spring in My Step. So this is a really light pastel neon, I want to say. I want to call this a pastel neon because that kind of is proved by the formula a little bit. Yeah, this is pretty. Like, I love this color in particular, even though I don't like pink a lot of times. But oh my god, the formula. Can we talk about China Glaze pastels? Because they're bad. They are not good. I'm actually not sure if they've improved their formula on their pastels recently, because I have not bought any new China Glaze collections probably 3 years. I think that makes me a bad blogger, but that's fine. I did 4 coats for the picture that you're seeing. Adding top coat definitely helped, but yeah, it was kind of a struggle to get here. But like I said, I like the color. Then next we have one by Catrice. I featured this in, oh boy, I think it was my Christmas haul last year. This is called Flower Berrybouquet, and it's a scented polish. And I said in that video that I was curious if this was going to be a good scented polish, and it actually was. It does smell pretty strongly of flowers, but it was never too over the top. So I appreciate that. This was 2 coats. I don't really have any complaints with the formula. It's slightly jelly-ish, but like, you can just look at the picture. There's not much nail line there. So yeah, I like this one. Next we have another painted polish. This is Nauti Nudist. This is a champagne-y gold micro glitter, but like really, really tiny micro glitter. Because it's a micro glitter, it's going to get a little bit thick, even though it is a thinner one. It's going to get textured. If you take this off without a peel-off base coat, it's just going to go everywhere. So, keep that in mind. I did 3 coats for this polish, or this picture, and I actually really like this polish, so yeah. It always feels so weird when I get into, I guess, quote-unquote girly colors, because that's not usually me. Like, I gravitate towards, like, dark colors, but this was really pretty. Next we have another China Glaze polish. This is called Bahamian Escape, and this is a really pretty light blue. I almost want to call it a pastel, but it's probably a little bit too dark. This has an amazing formula. I know that I just talked about China Glaze's pastels being crap, but this is actually a really good one. Took me 2 coats and it looks perfect. This next one is what I was talking about. This is also a China Glaze and it's Highlight of My Summer. This is what I was talking about when I talked about the bourjois one. This is definitely more of a pastel. Like, it's much lighter and the formula is more of a pastel. Again, the formula probably wasn't the best, but it's among the better pastels of China Glaze, so that was good. I did 3 coats for this, and this is actually probably one of my favorite, like, minty colors. So yeah, I like this one. Next we have another Catrice polish. It seems like I featured a lot of the same brands in this, or that month, but that's okay. This is Iridescent Illusion. Now, I was hesitating to like wear this polish and swatch it because I was not a fan of it initially. I still don't think it's my favorite at all, but it's not as bad as I thought. So this is the picture that you're seeing currently, I think, is 2 coats just applied normally, and then 1 coat sponged on top. And then the picture that you see now is just 2 coats on its own. So you can definitely see it's super brush strokey. I really recommend the sponged on coat because it's going to change the look a lot. Overall, you know, it's a decent polish. I'm not going to wear this again because it's not my color, but it's decent. Next we have another OPI polish. Yes, I already featured one. This is my Gecko Does Tricks. This was on my wish list for so long for some reason, and then I finally got it and never wore it. So this is a like light green shimmery polish. It has a little bit of a shift, but you can't really see it in my pictures, so I apologize. I did 3 coats for this. You can see some brush strokes, but it's not as bad as the one that I just showed you. So I can't really complain that much. So yeah, let's just move on. This next one is by Glisten and Glow, and it's called Doo-Wop and Drive-Ins. This is like a peachy, kind of like a pastel. I'm not sure if it's light enough to actually be like a true pastel, but I expected this to be a little bit more opaque for some reason. Maybe that's unreasonable. I don't know. I did 3 coats for the picture here. I liked it. It was fine. I don't think it looks really good with my skin tone though, because it's a little bit too peachy, I guess. I don't know. Next we have one of my favorites. This is by Orly and it's called Snowcone. This is a 1-coater, which is pretty damn good. This is like a cornflower blue. I just think this color is really beautiful, so I was really happy about the formula as well. So yeah. This next one is another one by Painted Polish. This is called Purple As A Pansy. This is a white crelly with all sorts of purple glitter. 3 coats, which is pretty standard for a white crelly, especially one by Painted Polish, but it was still a really good formula, so I like this polish too. Next we have one that I should have worn differently, to be honest. This is by Trended Up and it's got the number 241. This is a yellow jelly polish. So I did 3 coats for this picture. It's not opaque, but it's pretty even, so I cannot complain about that. However, I kind of wish I would have worn it over white on at least 2 nails, because I did that with another one. So I'm sorry that I didn't do that. I realize I probably should have, but yeah, it was fine. I don't like yellow, and I don't like sheer polishes, so this is not really, you know, up there. But I still use it for nail art sometimes. It depends on what I'm doing, but because it's not streaky, I guess it kind of works for that. I think you could actually like wear this over a silver micro glitter. I think that could look interesting. Anyway, I'm getting off track. This next one is by She, and it's got the number 710. This is just a normal grass green, or a light green cream. And this was 3 coats, which is pretty good for a drugstore polish. Can't really complain about the formula. It's a pretty standard color. I don't really know what else to say. But I liked it. I did. Next we have one by Enchanted Studio. This is my only Enchanted Studio polish that I have. I have some of the normal Enchanted polishes, but this is the only studio one, I think. This is called Shark Tank, and this is kind of like a medium to dark blue polish, but it's got a linear holographic in there. I'm actually not sure if it's a linear because you can pick out the particles. And I just want to say that this does have some holo. I know it doesn't look like it from my picture here, but yeah, it's supposed to be holo. I'm sorry. Anyway, this is 2 coats, and I was pretty happy with the formula. It's pretty standard. It was a pretty polish. I would wear this again. I just kind of wished the holo had shown up better. Speaking of holo, this next one is by Starrily, and it's called Magic Rainbow. This is just a pretty standard linear holographic. Silver linear holographic, that is. This was 3 coats, but the holo is pretty strong on this one. Again, I couldn't really capture it that well. I apologize, but I like this polish a lot. And then the second to last one is by Essie, which again, I don't really buy anymore. This is called Lieblingsmensch, which is German. I just felt really awkward saying that, but that's okay. So I'm not really sure if this is like a pink red or if it's just a normal red. But it seems like it's got a little bit of a pink undertone to it. This was pretty standard. It's just a red color. Essie does them pretty well, so I can't really complain. 2 coats for this one, and it looked pretty perfect. And then the last one is, again, by Catrice, and this is called Easy Peasy Green Squeezy. Now this is just a shimmery teal polish. I don't really have any complaints with this one. I did have to do 3 coats, but they weren't difficult to do, if that makes sense. Like, the formula was pretty great. So yeah, I do have another polish that is this exact same color, which I'm gonna try and do like a dupes video within my collection at one point. So I'm gonna be comparing those two. But yeah, that is it. Like I said at the beginning, I am gonna be doing all the toppers and all the nail art that I did this month together with all the other months at the end of the year, or possibly the beginning of the next year. We'll see how it goes. But until then, make sure to like and subscribe and do all that jazz, and I'll see you in my next video.